Про ситуацію на сході України.
Now the update about ATO operation. Colonel Andriy Lysenko, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Now the information about the events that happened in the ATO area during the last 24 hours and about training of Ukrainian armed forces. In Lugansk sector yesterday, military action started right after midnight when the militants delivered shellings of Stanitsa Luganska and its suburbs with the use of small arms and grenade launchers. Stanichno-Lugansk region, there were several episodes of ceasefire violations in Caesar. Enemy snipers were active. In Katerinovka, the occupants delivered short-term shelling, mortar shelling, and in the evening the enemy was active in Krymsk, where they delivered 3 shellings, one of them mortar shelling. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Lugansk sector, there were 8 shellings, including 2 with the use of mortars. The Donetsk sector, the occupants opened fire with the use of heavy weapons in the region of Svetlodarsk Bulge, in Gorlovka perimeter, and near Avdiivka. In Mironivsky and Verkhnytoretsk, the enemy used mortars and weaponry of armored vehicles. The most tense situation was observed in the region of Avdiivka. There, the enemy delivered 4 shellings with the use of heavy weapons, including 2 with the use of howitzers of 122 millimeter of caliber, launching more than 80 shells at Ukrainian positions. In Troitsky and Pisky, the occupants opened fire exclusively with the use of small arms. On the whole, in the Donetsk sector, there were 12 armed provocations delivered by the enemy, including 7 with the use of heavy weapons. In the Mariupol area, more than 70% of episodes of ceasefire violations were in Pavlopil-Shirokina part of front line. Yesterday, Russian occupation forces delivered 4 mortar shellings in Vodyane and 1 more in Gnutovo. In Krasnogorovka and Marienka, the occupants repeatedly carried out armed provocations with the use of grenade launchers and weaponry or APCs, and enemy snipers were active. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Mariupol sector, there were 32 enemy shellings, including 4 with the use of heavy weapons. During the last 24 hours, as a result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed. 3 servicemen were wounded in the course of shellings. Ordzhonikidze Regional Court of Mariupol sentenced a militant for 15 years, Zakhar Babarykin, nicknamed Gurza. First he served in the armed forces of Ukraine, then in the Foreign Legion in France. He joined Russian occupation forces in 2014. He was specially trained in Sevastopol in the Brigade of Russian Marines of the Armed Forces of Russia. Babarykin first was a bodyguard of Pushilin, and then he was the head of staff of subversive group that was called SWAT, and he was awarded by his commanders. It was the gun and an order. SBU officers documented that Gurza, together with other subverters, carried out in November 2014 a terror attack at the checkpoint of ATO forces in Mariupol, in the course of which 2 servicemen of the National Guard were killed. Also, the militant and his commander Inal Ardzinby and Vladislav Surko coordinated the training of subversive group in Odeshina in order to create a quasi-state Odessa People's Republic. Now he is hiding in the territory of Russian Federation.
Yesterday, at the checkpoint in Novotroitsk, Ukrainian law enforcement officers detained the militant from the DPR. He was driving the lorry, and as it was disclosed that he was a militant in a plot battalion after 4 months of service in the ranks of hostile militants group in the uncontrolled territory. He started to work as a driver for long distance freight traffic. He had the military identity card and other documents proving his participation in the militants' formation. In the village of Permamaysk, Donetsk region, the security service officers found 3 grenades, RPG-22, 4 anti-tank and 2 anti-personnel mines with detonators, over 6 kilograms of TNT blocks, ammunition rounds and 9 propellant charges for grenade launcher RPG-7, 5 electric detonators and more than 11,000 cartridges of 5.45 millimeters. The ammunition and weapons were transferred to the armed forces of Ukraine. In Kharkiv, the National Guardsmen have been improving their firing skills. In Kharkiv, the trainings and exercises for topographers are in progress. At the training, they used electronic aerial photography and other software. Yesterday, at Novotroitsk checkpost, 23 lorries carried humanitarian assistance from the UN agencies to Lugansk region. Thank you. The next press briefing on ATO developments will be tomorrow at 12:30.